Yes, obviously, my lord. But, my lord, that would not take away the power of the governor. My lord, kindly, my lord, appreciate. Your lordships are right. Your lordship stated. But that would not have taken away the power of the governor also to withhold. That you can't do this. This affects the federal structure. 4 states are affected. The center is affected because there is an international treaty in place. My lord, then, my lord, second submission, my lord, which I have made, but I wish, my lord, some of the judgments to be only relevant parts to be shown. My lord, I gave certain examples, my lord, that suppose the assembly passes a law that we will have a separate force. They may not term it as an army. That would protect the borders of my state, for example. Or a person belonging to a particular community will not be permitted to have any trade and business. These are extreme examples. Now, my lord, this section of my written submission deals with, then in past also, Supreme Court has dealt with extreme examples while interpreting Constitution of India. Because what your lordship decides today will be the foundation as to how the country will govern, number one. Number two, the Constitution will have to be interpreted with the harshest of the examples because it will have to withstand the test. There are many acts which are passed today which possibly would not have been contemplated, my lord, 70 years back. Now, please see, my lord, I have given the example of Lord Nani Palkiwala giving extreme examples that somebody surrenders the sovereignty, takes away the right to vote from a particular class of persons, or confers right only to a particular class of persons. Somebody say, my lord, some government come out with a say, as a, my lord, cheap publicity gimmick, that we will not tax anyone except some industrialists. These are not, my lord, these are, my lord, possible potential examples. Supreme Court has examined extreme situations. Please come to page 771. Lord, in Keshwanand Bharati, only I'll read the highlighted part. Lord, if this is so, Lord, please see the extreme examples which are tested. If this is so, a political party with a 2/3 majority in parliament for 4 years could so amend the constitution as to debar any other party from functioning, establish totalitarianism, enslave the people, and after having effected those purposes, make the constitution unamendable or extremely rigid. This would no doubt invite extra constitutional revolution. They have considered that if we interpret it in a particular manner, this kind of bills also can be passed. Mr. Palkiwala gave an example that suppose Article 368 is amended, conferring power to amend on the executive, that henceforth the government will amend the constitution. I'm saying the same thing. I'm unable to convey it the way, my lord, your lordships have very pithily conveyed. What I'm saying is that while answering the proposition that we have unbridled power, the court has examined and conceived extreme situations, that we have to keep these situations in mind, that if we allow your... Yes, my lord, only, I'm not, my lord, then reading rest, but my lord, one judgment, my lord, which I found it interesting, is again, my lord, 7-judge bench, State of Rajasthan versus Union of India. The lordships were shown in a different context. Here, my lord, the example which was given was that this was a case of 356, my lord, President's rule. Janta government, my lord, dismissed all Congress governments in the state. And that was under challenge. And, my lord, not all, 7, my lord, is right, 7 state governments in the state, in different states. And the question was, what can be the judicial review of 356? So 356 is an executive power. It's not a legislative power. That's a separate thing, unlike Article 200. The court says that we will examine only if there are certain exceptional circumstances. And one of the example, your lordship may come to para 773. Another extreme example, but an interesting extreme example. Page 773, my lord, the highlighted part. Take, for example, if your lordship, my lord, can come to that. Court is examining the justiciability or power of judicial review or the restrictions thereof. Take, for example, a case where, I'm sorry, Malod, your lordship gets somewhere, Malod, the highlighted part, fifth, seventh line from the top, last word is take. Take, for example, your lordship gets Malod. Take, for example, a case where the president gives the reason for taking action under Article 256 and 356 and says that he is doing so because the chief minister of the state is below 5 feet in height and therefore in his opinion a situation has arisen, then we can interfere, etc., etc. Point is, there can be extreme, there will have to be extreme examples on which you test the constitution.